you're gonna hear a brand new story about a great engineer. He's the greatest of them all, we claim. Number one's his engine, Casey Jones, his name. Casey Jones, steaming and rolling. Casey Jones, you never have to guess. When you hear the tooting of the whistle, it's Casey at the throttle of the cannonball S. Casey Jones, steaming and rolling. Casey Jones, you never have to guess. When you hear the tooting of the whistle, it's Casey at the throttle of the Cannonball Express.
Welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Padstow Railway. And there's a real photograph of the railway platform just there. And if you come to the end of this video, I put on a 4-minute section showing you an actual journey from Padstow to Wadebridge and back again. So for any railway enthusiasts out there, take a look at it. It's really good. Hi, welcome back to my channel. It's Simon here again. Today I'm going to be talking about the railway to Padstow, when it arrived, when it closed, and things around it, places that are really quite interesting. We're actually on the Camel Trail now, which is the old path of the railway. And if you look over there, you can see the railway bridge, which is probably the most significant surviving part of the railway that's still here and still used today by the Camel Trail and the cyclists and walkers who use it. The campsite there is called Dennis Cove Camping, and we stayed there all the time for years and years and years before we got a little place down here in St Mirren. If you look on top of the hill there, that's Dennis Hill, and there's Queen Victoria Monument at the top. And that's my recommendation of the day, really. If you walk up to the top there, there's a few benches up there, and you get the most panoramic view of Padstow, the Camel Estuary, right down to the sea. It's the best view in the whole place. So there we are. I'll get cracking and tell you all about it. So the Padstow Railway was the gateway to Cornwall. The London and South Western Railway reached Padstow on the 27th of March 1899, opening the town to visitors from across Britain. The famous Atlantic Coast Express left London Waterloo daily, bringing holidaymakers to Padstow and other North Cornish resorts. The railway was vital for trade. It carried fresh fish, shellfish, produce and goods from Padstow to London markets, and in the other direction brought coal, livestock, supplies and parcels to the town. So Padstow Station was a busy terminus with platforms, goods yard, engine sheds, turntable and sidings. Must have been wonderful to see it in its heyday. So here's my great-grandfather, third from the left, at the opening of the railway station in Padstow in 1899. He was a master mariner, and I guess, because of that, was a town dignitary. Great photo, isn't it? I think every single man there has got a beard. So for almost 68 years, the railway brought visitors, goods and jobs to Padstow. But by the 1950s and 60s, more people were travelling by car and fewer passengers used the line. And then in 1963, Dr. Richard Beeching published his report, The Reshaping of British Railways, recommending the closure of many loss-making lines across Britain. The Padstow branch line was amongst those selected. The railway closed on the 30th of January 1967, ending nearly 7 decades of railway history. The tracks were lifted and buildings gradually disappeared. But during the 80s, the route between Padstow and Wadebridge up to Bodmin became the Camel Trail, an 18-mile traffic-free walking and cycling route. Today the Camel Trail attracts hundreds of thousands of walkers and cyclists every year. The people in this photograph that's John Hutchings sat down, the man that was at the opening of the railway station, the Master Mariner. And on his knee is my grandmother, Doris Sargent, well, later Simpson. To the left is my great-grandmother, Gertrude Hutchings. Well, she was a sergeant when she married Alfred Sargent, who's stood on the right. And the reason I tell you this is because my mother and grandmother used to come and visit my great-grandmother via the train. And then my grandfather would come down on the paddle steamer to meet them. And where did they stay? Well, on occasions they'd stay in the Metropole Hotel, Padstow's Grand Railway Hotel. When the railway reached Padstow in 1899, it transformed the town into one of Cornwall's leading seaside holiday resorts. So then the hotel was built as a result. It was designed in elegant Edwardian style and quickly became one of Cornwall's finest luxury hotels. Guests arrived on the Atlantic Coast Express just a short walk from the hotel. And from its elevated position, guests enjoy spectacular views across the Camel Estuary to Rock and the Atlantic beyond. The hotel was requisitioned for military use during both World War I and World War II, and today it continues its tradition of hospitality as the Harbour Hotel, combining modern comfort with timeless Edwardian charm. Now, me and Aid took Mum to the Metropole Hotel many times for afternoon high tea, for an evening meal, just for a drink to watch the views. It was a lovely hotel, very well priced, staff were beautiful, but I really can't say it's the same today because it's changed hands and is now the Harbour Hotel. One thing I do know is it's a lot more expensive to eat there and to stay there. So when you get up close to it, it really is quite an impressive structure. And obviously it's been recently reinforced and got extra supports in it for the people and the bikes that cross it. And here is my second best view in Padstow recommendation. If you can't make the hill, you need to come here. Come and have a look. What do you think? It's incredible, isn't it? You can see all the way down Padstow on the right, Rock on the left, and then you get out to Doombar and the Stepper Point right out at the mouth of the sea. Such a beautiful place to sit here for hours and take in the view, have a nice bowl of bubbly and celebrate the weather. This is the view from the top of Dennis Hill next to the Queen Victoria Monument or obelisk, which was erected in 1887. Anyway, there's the view of the Camel Estuary, Padstow on the left, Rock on the right, looking out to Doombar and the Atlantic. Beautiful place, and golden sand and clear blue water. So in that video, I pointed out Dennis Cove campsite, where me and Aid have stayed dozens of times over many years. And it really is the most beautiful campsite. It stands next to the Camel Trail, the old railway line. It's got beautiful views of the estuary. And of course, it's just a 3 or 4 minute walk into town. So it's a perfect holiday place to stay if you like camping, that is. So here we are, this is the old railway station. And you can see it's elevated because that would have been the railway platform. There used to be some railway goods sheds here. I think they were demolished in about the 80s and then rebuilt a bit further over. And that's where you can find Rick Stein's fish and chips takeaway. Yippee! So here's another recommendation for you. I've compared Rick Steins versus Chips Ahoy cod and chips, and I highly recommend Chips Ahoy above Rick Steins. It's half the price and twice as nice, in my view. So my pub recommendation is the Old Custom House on Padstow Harbour. The reason being, it was the first pub railway passengers came across as they disembarked, and they'd often go there for lunch and drinks before finding their hotel or holiday cottage. So as I said, my pub recommendation this week is the Old Custom House in Padstow, which sits on the corner of the harbour, very close to where Padstow Railway Station was. So when people came off the train, it was the first pub that they saw, and often would stop in there for lunch and a drink. The name comes from the fact that customs duties were collected on goods arriving and leaving the harbour in this building. So even though the railway left Padstow, the Old Custom House remains, and it still is, a favourite today. One of Padstow's most popular pubs, known for its warm welcome, harbour views and Cornish hospitality. Food is great, staff are lovely, it's well worth a visit. Next time I'll be looking at St Enodox, the church in the sand, across the other side of the estuary, just down from Rock. A beautiful, quaint little church that used to be buried under the sand. Now, before you go, here's that video I mentioned earlier on of the actual train journey from Wadebridge to Padstow. It's a beautiful clip without sound, so I'm going to put a bit of music over the top of it. I really hope you enjoy this as much as I did.
1, 2. What you say? Step aside, partner, it's my day. Bend an ear and listen to my version of a really solid Tennessee excursion. shine. Can you afford to board Chattanooga choo-choo? I got my fare and just a trifle to spare. You leave the Pennsylvania station about 3:45. Read a magazine and then you're in Baltimore.
Dinner in the diner, nothing could be finer than to have your ham and eggs in Carolina.
When you hear the whistle blowing 8 to the bar, then you know that Tennessee is not very far.
Shovel all the calling, gotta keep it rolling.
Ooh, ooh, Chattanooga, there you are. There's gonna be a certain party at the station.
Satin and lace,
I used to call Funny Face. She's gonna cry until I tell her that I'll never roam. So Chattanooga choo-choo, won't you choo-choo me home?
Chattanooga, Chattanooga,
All aboard,
Chattanooga, Chattanooga,
get aboard.
Chattanooga, Chattanooga, Chattanooga choo-choo,
Won't you choo-choo me home?
Chattanooga choo-choo.